Hello, hello, hello. All right, welcome, folks. So this is me and Mark playing. I've switched over from the Swarm Lord to Old One Eye. He plays a enraged orc, and I put on the signature +1 hit point signature attachment for Old One Eye. And so Mark's a newer player. He hasn't played um, very many Tyranids at all, like most of us, right? So um, So yeah, this is going to be a challenging. I realized, like I'm playing a big bad hit warlord against Nazdreg's brutal guys. So this was a this. I knew this was going to be a heck of a match. I'd chosen the Zoanthrope as my synapse unit. So and then I play a synaptic link. But so so yay! I have card draw when every time a commitment happens. At least that's what I think, right? So, but for those of you who are eagle-eyed, you've noticed what he's going to play next is a squid bombing. So he gets rid of that. 2 for 2. It's early, and I think that was a good play on his part. That was a good play on his part. So I play a Ripper Swarm, I think, out there to try to get some card draw. And this is a fun game. So he plays Death Guard Infantry. He's already clocked to the. He's only played maybe 10 games, but he already knows the importance of pushing on the command struggles. So I play the Tyranid Warrior, which is a 2/4, 2 command icon card on the first planet, Aatrox Prime. But I'm kind of obsessed with getting cards at this point, right? And I don't know if I make a great decision here. I can't really remember where I go, so we'll discover it together. Again, I've made the error before in the past, so my synapse unit is on my right, my warlord is on my left to match the dial so that I can keep it there. Now my strategy has been so far, for the most part, to send my warlord to a lower numbered planet, my synapse unit to a higher numbered planet. I'm not sure that's the right strategy, but that's how I've been thinking, at least. So we see here that I send, but I break that strategy immediately and go the other direction. Okay. I win the command there. He gets one more resource. I get 2 cards. And then that's a push. So, and we don't do a lot of battles. I think we miss each other twice on these first 2 turns, first 2 rounds. So I do a damage to the Enrage Orc because eventually I have to do damage to him. Why not do it when I can't, when I don't take that immediate punishment for doing so? At one point in this game, I do play a couple brood chambers, or I have at least one out, but there's never really a good opportunity for me to put brutal on somebody. So that kind of sucks. So I might have to reevaluate the brood chamber. I have 2 in the deck. It's a 0 cost support, so it isn't bad, and it could really come in handy against, Anshi and anything like that. Now he triggers Yvarn, which I think is put in a unit into play. He puts a flash gets into play. I put a burrowing Trigon into play. So yay me, right? But again, burrowing Trigon. That's about as free as you can get a big old unit like that. That's pretty awesome. And then we go to the next. Oh, I win that command and search for 3 cards. And I think I see another synaptic link in these 3. So I'm thinking, do I take a unit or do I take a synaptic link? Or maybe that's the next turn. Yeah, I take the synaptic link, I switch it out, put the unit back on the bottom, because I think I want the card draw. It's still early game, I want the card draw. So that's how that was my decision. I wanted the synaptic link for the card draw early game. I use, for those of you who've been watching these, I use the resource tokens at either end to kind of mark the beginning, the bottom, and the top of the camera. So we want to keep it in there. And Mark is consistently pulling the resource counter back on this until I say, hey, wait, I used that as my placeholder. Oh, okay. So I have all these units. And that's one thing I've found as I've been playing Tyranids, is that I often end up with a lot of units at HQ. And of course, those units are going to be exhausted when they travel with the Warlord, so I need to get that. The signature support for Old One Eye is the Awakening Cavern, in which you get to you exhaust it to ready a target unit of yours. I think it's target unit of yours. I don't know that you'd ever ready any other unit for any reason, but so here's our deploy. I have initiative. I am going to I have realized that having an initiative token on camera or as part of the video is important. You can see the whole board. You can see that the dark initiative token is pointing my way, but I think I'm going to put the initiative token, get an image of it, and put it on the player side as these things happen. So here's one of the signature units of Old One Eye, a 3/1 who can move 2 damaged that's assigned. Move 2 damage that's assigned, and you can assign it to your Warlord. And what I realized during this game is you can assign it to your Warlord even if your Warlord isn't at the planet, which is an awesome little connection that the Tyranids have. Just thematically, it shows the connection between a Warlord and his signature units. It's pretty cool. And of course, Old One Eye, whenever he readies, or at least once per round, he can remove half the damage. I played a game on Octagon earlier, and the HQ phase happens, and so he readied during the HQ phase because he was exhausted, and I removed damage from him during the HQ phase because that's during that round, right? Which really helped. Now this is a card, the Spores is a card that I didn't use in my Swarmlord deck. I probably should have, but I wasn't using it. I didn't feel I had the space. And I have 2 copies in this deck. It's an area effect basically, right? Without the attack. It's a sacrifice action akin to Zarathar's Flamers, but instead of Zarathar's Flamers doing 2 to 1, it does 1 to everything. Which, again, against Nazdreg and his brutal units is not necessarily a good thing. So here we go again with command, or commitment phase. I think at this point I say, okay, I'm just going to give up on 1. But we'll find out together. Oh, no, I went to 1. All right. Oh, and one of the cards is off screen. I think I correct that eventually here. Yeah. So you have the Tyranid Warrior, the Bearing Trigon, the 3/1. I'm explaining that the exhausted command icon doesn't count, but he wins it anyways because he has the promotion. And then one thing I have been failing to do is remembering that the Zoanthrope does damage at the beginning of the command phase. It is a reaction. So learn from my mistake and remember to trigger the freaking Zoanthrope at the beginning of the combat phase. So I don't do that, right? I completely forget about it. He could be doing 1 to the Death Guard infantry, but he's not. I'm not. Doing something completely different. Now it is my initiative, so I think at this point I decide, okay, I'm gonna try to get around the Brute a little bit, and I was gonna go for Nazdreg, but then he plays a battle cry, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm not in a good place here. This is the second game I've played with one old One Eye, one being on Octagon, this being the second one. I played against him a couple times, but yeah, and Mark has a lot of shield guards. So he shields for 2 and does this. Yeah, so he lets me do the damage. And then he's gonna attack here. I don't think I have any events in my hand. It's one of those times in Conquest where you're kind of looking at your hand going, I wish there was something I could play out of it. I wish there was something I could play out of it, but I don't have anything. Oh yeah, so he's putting all his energy to the Burrowing Trigon because he knows that if he does a damage to the old One Eye, any damage to the old One Eye is just gonna kind of go away. He's tougher than he looks, right? Or he's tough as nails. At this point, I'm considering whether I throw a shield. I do have a fall back in my hand, so that'll bring the Burrowing Trigon back. But I let him do damage because okay, he's going to concentrate there, and he's going to kill him, and I'm going to fall back and bring him back to HQ. So that'll be good for me. So I think at this point I still go ahead and attack Nazdreg. And he shields. Again. A Nurgling Bomb. A Nurgling Bomb in a Nazdreg deck is actually a pretty neat idea. Pretty neat play. Because then every one of his units takes damage and, it gets stronger with the Brutal trait, where I either take damage or I go away. So, yeah, and he's got the battle cry, so he's just hitting for all kinds of stuff. So that happens. I play a fallback and bring him right back to HQ. Now, unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to swing, so that kind of sucks. I'm tapped out. He's got two more guys coming on at me, one of which is the Enraged Orc. He's got, 2 damage to untap to ready him. So, at this point I realize I think I might be in trouble. He's going to do 3 damage to... Or, 4 damage, 5 damage. 5 damage. Enraged Orc who who's +2, so he's hitting for 3. And I shield 1 of it, take 2, and I'm at 6, but he has 1 more hit point. So he very quickly bloodies old One Eye. And I go, I think I might get out. Yeah, I retreat. Again, I'm stuck with the same units I just had in play. Nothing has really changed. They're back at HQ. I've lost the planet and I've bloodied my warlord. So, not a good day for me. But that's how these things go, right? You live and you learn. So he gets the trigger of the battle ability of another planet. He's not going to trigger the put a unit into play for each of us because he's learned his lesson there. Although Burrowing Trigon again doesn't get a chance to hit. I think I've swung with the Burrowing Trigon 1 time in the way, and he's been in play. I played him in the in my Swarmlord deck. So he's a big bad guy, but he often ends up at HQ. Oh, so he triggers the discard. And he gets a Termagant Horde, which does kind of suck. And then there's no more combat. Synapse comes back. We flip it and go from there. And so, with so many units at HQ, I'm kind of obligated. I don't want to take my units somewhere where they're just going to be stuck. So I think, okay, maybe I'll go to Planum, but then I have to move a warlord there, and it's all these things. So Planum is that last planet there, and it doesn't go so well for me. He's got initiative. He's got 5 or 6 resources. Maybe, yeah, 5, I think. So he plays the Tank Basta Bomber. And I have 5 resources, and I have some expensive units in my hand. I think I have 3s. I have 3s and a 2, maybe some supports. Trying to decide what to do. As you can see, I've played a Brood Chamber out there. So I play a Synaptic Link this time. Hopefully I can actually get a chance to draw a card with it. He plays Cracktooth Hall. The banana is the other card that he has. And he used it to play the Bomber, the Tank Buster Bomber. So it's a nice quiet evening at home for me while I watch this. Kids are in bed. My wife is watching HDTV. And I'm sitting here talking to you guys, or talking to my screen. He's got all those units at HQ. Man alive. If I thought I could kill some of them, he has initiative again. So that's a hunting gargoyle, or a hunter gargoyle. Doesn't have any command icons. And I don't have any promotions in this deck. I think I should find space for 2. I think I should find space for 2 of them. that would give me 5 limited cards between, or 4 limited cards, with 5 limited cards between the Ripper Swarms and that. So I play Regeneration on the Tyrannid Warrior, which best Tyrannid card, I think. It's widely usable. It's usable in almost any circumstance against any opponent. It gives that those +2 hit points. It's insane to keep your units alive and kicking. And on the Tyrannid Warrior, now that Tyrannid Warrior is a 2/6 who can heal once for 2, right? I mean, that's he's a 2/6. He's tough as nails, and he's like a 2/6. He's a 2/6/2/8, 2/6/8 kind of thing, right? And at this point, he has a red and a blue. So the second planet right now, planet 2, is his win condition, assuming he gets planet 1. So I think I take my units to 2. I go Warlord to 2, Synapse to somewhere else. He goes to 1, as an aggressive Orc player should. He might have gone to, he wanted to secure 2. But also, see, by winning 1, his win condition is now either, or maybe it's not, I can't quite see. Yeah, it's a green planet. Planet 3 is a green. But now he has a red and a blue. He has 2 reds and 2 blues. And I infest the planet because I got a command. I won a command there. Is that right? I don't know why I infested the planet. I can't remember. And then he uses Crack Tooth Hall to move a damage over. I have a whole bunch of units there. Yay, me. I'm not going to end up with them back at HQ. I don't know why Old One Eye is tapped. Exhausted, I'm sorry. Please, Watsy, don't sue me. Alright, so then they come back. I have a lot of cards in my hand, but not a lot of resources. The Trigon is finally at a planet. Woohoo! Or he might be able to swing at somebody. But I don't think Mark even comes to planet 1. I think he yields it. So he's got a good... He's quickly picked up the strategy, that impulse, right? The pace of the game. He said, okay, my win condition is further down. Play another Brood Chamber, which is just a stalling tactic at this point. I'm trying to see what he's going to do so I can better plan. Of course, he plays an Orc Cannon, countering my stall. Now at this point I'm thinking, okay, I can go on and do other things. I play the Ripper Swarm. Yeah, I think it's a Ripper Swarm. And then those are the trigons where you deploy it and you infest the planet. I cannot figure out why I infested that first planet. Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe I confused cards with those in my hand with ones in the game. And he's noticing that the cards are drawn. There's little drawings on the cards. Is that a Cthulhu on Platinum? And I explained there's a little robot. And all the little sketches by Brad. Little Brad Andrews doodling. Wow, he's got a lot of units. I just keep looking over there and going, I don't know. I know where he's going. He's going to 3, and I can't do anything about it. He really did outthink me in this game pretty well. He had those shields for that first combat and just really put my plan sideways. And I'm realizing he's going to go to 3. I can't do anything about it other than maybe send my Synapse unit there to try to do some damage to someone because the planet's infested. And then I play the Pyrogore. This is my, okay, I'm going to make him fight. I'm going to make him fight for planet. My only hope is assuming he's going to 3, is at this point my strategy is I'm going to wear down his units. I'm going to get his units down to nothing so that by the time we get to 3, and 3 is the planet, 3's first, that I can do something with it. But then he goes to 4. Surprises me. So old One Eye goes to 4 because I'm like, okay, I'll go there, and then I'll move my Burrowing Trigon to 2, or Burrowing Trigon to somewhere, right? And oh yeah, this is the moment where everything goes sideways. So he wanted to play a Daka. He thought it happens during command struggle. So then all heck breaks loose. And I go, okay, wait, what? So he has to, I explained to him that he had to do it before he passed during the deploy action. I had played, so we try to backtrack our steps. So those 2 would have died. All those units take damage. So that dies from a Daka. Burning Trigon, Ripper Swarm dies. Those 2 were played after he passed, though. So we kind of try to go back to where, it had some kind of effect. Yeah, Daka in that case would have. So I reassigned 2 damage to. I reassigned one of the damage that he takes 1. Oh, and I think the Warlord should have gotten another one. I don't know that it mattered at this point. So he says, okay, I went to 4, you get to recommit. His Warlord is tapped. Everything's exhausted. So I have a bit of advantage here, but at this point, I was so surprised by his move to 4 that I just don't know. And then I realized I don't need to I don't need to mess with the dial. I can just choose. So this is a bit of a backup, but it's a friendly, casual game. He's still learning. I let him do it. And then where do I put the synapse unit. I want to put the synapse unit somewhere so he can do some damage. So draw 2 cards, draw 2 cards, 2 resources, and I get the card from him. I get the card in the resource, and then the commitment card from the synaptic unit. Synaptic link, sorry. So, yeah, and then I remember beginning combat phase, I'm going to go ahead and see, now this is where I maybe should have used brutal with the synapse unit to give the synapse unit +1. I don't know what I'm thinking about here. I think I missed the damage, the zoanthrope giving damage. Yeah, so I totally missed the boat on the zoanthrope dealing damage to somebody, which would have been a big deal, right? So I assign the orc cannon damage to the Hormigaunt, or to the lurking one, or the one I takes it, I reassign it to the burrowing Trigon. This is a comedy of errors, folks. I was, at this point, I'm out of sorts. I'm like, wait, Daka. So, not saying I wouldn't have been out of sorts had he played it correctly, but I was out of sorts now. So now I've got a red and 2 blue. And my win condition is at the end, which sucks. I just did not see that coming. I was hoping that, I thought he was going to go to 3. He didn't. Instead, he goes to 4, and I think he's going to move his unit to 3. I don't know what I'm explaining. Oh, that's what I'm explaining to him, is that I realize I've forgotten the zoanthrope. I'm not going to do damage because I have to learn to play it. I'm being hard on myself. He swings for 1 because the Death Guard infantry doesn't have brutal. He swings back for 2. I put 2 on. I ready him. He gets +2 attack. And I put the markers on the attachment just to mark that. And I say, okay, he's going to hit for 3. Yay! Next attack this phase. And so he retreats. And discard the biggest bet, I think, is what that is. He puts 3 on the Enraged Orc. Now this is where Tobin, a new NIDS player, me, I should have put Brutal onto the Zoanthrope and hit the freaking Enraged Orc. I played Predation on that planet for some reason. I can't remember why. And Predation was not a card I had during the deploy phase, or else I would have played it maybe even after commitment. I could have played it during the commitment action window, or the command struggle action window, to infest that planet, so that the Zoanthrope would have done 2 damage. Had I even remembered that the Zoanthrope could do 2 damage. So then the Flash gets hits for 4. I realize, I realize a shield is not going to help me because he's hitting for 4 and I already have 1 damage on me. So he kills my Synapse unit. Just like that. Poor play on my part. Poor play. I'm learning. I'm still learning this game. Just because I have a podcast and we have a podcast and I do these videos doesn't mean I'm a very good player. Oh man alive. I just got torn up here. I just got torn up. And that damage slipped off a card. I think he just puts it on somebody. Flash gets. I think he came off the flash gets. Yeah. So, no matter. So we continue to play it out. I think we've already done some table talk and said, oh, I'm going to win it. I have to go all the way to the end to win. I'm still thinking, oh, maybe I can win before that because I get 4 planets to his 3, but his 3 planets are actually give him the 3 icons he needs. So, he has initiative. Not that I would ever think the Tank Bustabamas was at the planet 2, but I've been pretty finicky about having cards where they should sit, especially when I'm doing these videos, when I'm recording the game. So, play him, infest the planet. So now I have all 3 planets infested. I hope that something's going to come up that will help me do something with that. But I don't think it turns out to be the case. Toxic Venom Thrope on the planet so that when I win a command circle there, I can get another thing. He's already passed. I play Regeneration on the Pyrophore to make him a 3/5/7. And again, just don't have what I need. I don't know why I played him there. Maybe out of just a stubbornness. I'm going to put my unit there even though I can move him later. Maybe that's why I put him there. To kind of bait Mark into going to 4. Or to 3. I couldn't do anything at the point. I couldn't force his hand in any way. He was going to 3 no matter what I did. I went to 2 for some... Oh, because he was just going to have his way with me at 3. So, yeah, I wanted to trigger a battle at 2 because I wanted to have him use Planum to put one of his units back at Planum. So that he wouldn't use his it in another way, in a more offensive way. Yay, I win the planet. Woohoo! Golf clap for me. I win a planet that doesn't do anything towards my victory condition. And then I am going to end up being exhausted. Yeah. And I think that's it. So then I route a unit of his. I don't get a chance to do much. And then combat action, yeah, I route the big bad so that he can't attack. Maybe I should have gone for Plenum, but all those units were brutal. He would have stomped me. And so yeah, I do the weakling move, and I think I move away. I have a no mercy. I have a fallback in my hand. I could have used the no mercy first round, but I didn't. I remind him that it's indirect damage to both players. He's been using it when he doesn't have anybody to plan it, so he was used to just doing a damage to me. Yeah. At this point, I'm just moving cards around on the table. There's not much else left to this game. I would completely understand if you stop watching. Man. I kept looking at my hand thinking, how am I going to do this? He clears the infestation, which is not good for me. My zoanthrope is still... and then and then that's it, right? So, woohoo! We have one more turn. There's about 5 more minutes left of the video, I think. So, I'm stubborn. I should have conceded a few minutes ago, but I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to keep playing my cards. I wanted to keep playing some cards. I thought, oh, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for the other spore unit, which would have killed it wouldn't have killed the enraged orc, but it would have got the tank buster bombers. It would have gotten one of the glitzes, one of the gitzes, and the other one would have taken 1 damage. That's what I was digging for. That's what I was digging for. I remember I was digging for something. There was one card, hope, but I had nothing. And then I make a huge mistake because I forget he had cleared the infestation. And I didn't read the card that's in my hand. And I'm trying to decide, okay, do I do this now? I do this now. Yay. I play the Shrieking Harpy for 6. And then I look down and I read the card to him. And I say, oh, it does this, that, and the other thing. Oh, and it infested planet. And I realize, oh, no. Oh, and I hit the camera a couple times. Oh, sorry for that dizziness. I got a little motion sick there. So I realized, oh yeah, Shrieking Harpy doesn't actually work unless the planet is infested. Wonderful. Wonderful. So then I know my game is done. Because he plays another enraged orc. And then to add insult to injury, he plays a couple of the big Goth Choppas and +2 with Armor Bane. Yeah, Shrieking Harpy is no good at a non-infested planet. So, let this be a lesson to you young Conquest players. Infestation is a thing that you need to remember. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of sucky. So, And there we are. I'm explaining that, yeah, everybody taps, but then he dies. Yeah, but it's not infested. It's not infested, so it sucks. All right. Thanks for watching, folks.